Hello, and it's another day at the Cracking the Rich Code podcast. I'm your host, John Verico, and it is my absolute delight to be hosting this show because I get to talk to some of the best people on the planet. Tell you our guest for today, and I know I say this all the time, very special, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it's true. One of the nicest guys I've ever come across, and he's got a very cool business model and a very intriguing name. His company is called Dad Puzzles, and he has a podcast called Puzzles. And I will tell you, I was honored to be a guest on his Dad Puzzles podcast. So, with all of that, let me please bring in our guest, Suleiman and Ijani. Uh, Suleiman, come on in here, buddy.
Thank
There
you.
you
Thank you.
are. Hey,
Thank you.
Suleiman, how are you doing today?
My friend, I am blessed. I am just full of gratitude. And it's truly an honor to be with you here today.
This is great. I absolutely enjoyed, thoroughly loved being on your podcast. Invited me to Dad Puzzles. I'm like, but I'm not a dad. I mean, I kind of am, but I don't have any biological children. I've mentored people, but it's different. And but I was so delighted, and you just are just such a big-hearted, warm guy. You're one of those people that want to give you a hug.
Appreciate you, brother. Likewise. Is I we truly enjoyed just having you in our podcast, and you shared a lot of important very important information that will save many lives for sure if people listen to it to our our great episode. You shared a lot of like important information from your experience, um, because experience matters, and you have quite a vast experience and your knowledge. Oh, just go listen to this, my friend. You'll be enlightened. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. That's not. Hey, this show's not about me, my friend. This show is about you. We're going to talk about you. But it's
Okay.
interesting. Like I said, you invited me to your podcast, and it's just kind of when you think about it, it's kind of like how we got involved in the Cracking the Rich Code, right? Because we were invited to participate in this book series, and I know when Jim Britt's team first reached out to me and invited me to be in Cracking the Rich Code. I'm like, well, that's not what I'm about. I'm not a money guy. But then when I understood richness of life, oh, okay, now it makes more sense. And the same thing with with your podcast. So let me ask you, when you were invited by Jim's team, what went through your mind, and go from there.
Absolutely. Oh, when I was invited by his team, I was saying I was it was such an important moment because they like lately I've been getting so many invites, and that one, when I look at the folks involved, what Jim has done, his team, and if you see the who's writing the forward, and like who approved the book series, and I'm like, sure, I'll be honored to do this. Thank you for the invitation. So I took advantage of it. I think that's one thing I would like to share with the listeners. If you get opportunities like this, sometimes it's good to be careful what like what you take and what you do not take. But this is one of those, like, no brainer. I have to do this.
Yeah, and through being in this book series, we've met some amazing people, haven't we? Julie,
Right.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. We had a little glitch there. Um, saying that through being in the Cracking the Rich Code book series, we've had the opportunity to meet some really amazing people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one of those things where
Yeah.
what
Now
one opportunity leads to
your
the
chapter just
next.
came out in
Hmm.
Cracking the Rich Code. We're having some internet issues today, probably because of the storms that are going through. But I think we're going to be able to push on. Let's do this. Your chapter is called "The
Let's try, my
False
friend. Yes, sir.
Choice That's Destroying High Performing Fathers." So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what dad puzzles is, and then how you wound up talking about the false choice that destroys high performing fathers.
Absolutely. I'll be honored to do that. So, with the dad puzzles, how it came about, during the pandemic, me and my wife were just we're expecting actually a second child at that time, and we're reading up on stats and some information about pregnancy and such. And sometimes when I'll be looking up, okay, so how do dads deal with the situation, that kind of thing. There was no much information on that online, so I'm like,
Ah.
we need somebody in this space to speak about this. So I took it, that's where that puzzle was born, because of course, as a parent with a, like with the babies, I think you have puzzles, you have many other toys, and then I'm like, yeah, this is definitely, so everything came about, like the dad puzzle
I
project.
love
So
it.
I
I love how you refer to them as parentpreneurs,
yes,
and it's true. Trying to
absolutely,
balance
because
that, right, with family, and
absolutely,
it's
yes.
hard enough balancing work and family. But when you're an entrepreneur, I mean, that's a whole other all encompassing kind of environment.
That is true, and for most of us, is a whole new animal. Like, we have to learn. We were not born into, we don't have that history. Like, if my parents were doing entrepreneurship stuff, I'll be more familiar with it. But my dad was a scientist, my mom was working in the office, so I don't have that history of entrepreneurship. um, but I guess reality woke me to being involved in entrepreneurship, and so the learning curve is pretty steep. But I'm happy to get involved in it because I love the challenge. And actually, so I started blogging with the dad puzzles, and then after blogging, it became a podcast. And then later on, when I was speaking with the different fathers, most of them were entrepreneurs. And then also I noticed some parents don't even have time to listen or watch our episodes. This is because they you know they don't have the quote unquote the financial freedom to do that. They don't have that time. So that's why I think
Right? They're out there
the
chasing the dollars or chasing the kids around the house, one of the two.
absolutely. and
Sometimes at the
and
same time.
oh, and I believe is really the first one, because that's why you do have the term like soccer mom and stuff, because most dads, they don't have time for that, right? So why not us being around to take our kids to the soccer games and all these things? So I wanted to see, okay, let me, if I can share all these different experiences of the different dads and moms, like in terms of their careers, dads and other parents, they can learn this. So maybe if the learning curve is not too much, or if they're able to adapt that and make themselves better financially, so that they can have the freedom to take care of the family even better, and also being around,
Right.
because a lot of times it's been like, okay, you either chase the wealth, or you become just the stay home dad, or stay home, thinking like, okay, there's no wealth, is just you're gonna be broke and just deal with the families and stuff like that. You can do both, my friend. You can do both.
I love that. You don't have to be broke. But part of it too, and I think that was part of the selling point on being part of the Cracking the Rich Code series, was it's not about financial wealth necessarily. I mean,
Right.
wealth really expands to all parts of our life, and being able to have an enriched life includes not just the money and the business, but it also includes that important family time, and hobbies and all the other things that keep us
And
as a
healthy.
well-rounded, healthy human being. Yes,
Right.
yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So tell me what you do with dad puzzles.
Yes, sir. So with that, actually, like you nailed it, because broke, like I'm touching all those different aspects. And actually, there's this thing in lifestyle medicine, where we emphasize on, let's say, sleep, your your eating habit, and like the happiness. So to get all these things, I mean, you need to be aware of them first, and also you have to take it to address them. So, like my case, I'm a contractor to like different hospitals, and before my last like my last contract ended in April, I was sleep deprived, deprived big time. So if I had continued since April until today with that lifestyle, I don't think I'd have been around. Or maybe there could have been something really bad
Wow.
I could that could have happened. Because when you don't have much sleep for many days, it is not a good thing. And
And you should
so
know you're an MD, right?
tell me about, and they even wrote a book about that. I shared the book about that. But then the thing is, the reality when you're learning the entrepreneurship and everything else that goes behind the scenes, there is so much that needs to be done. So when I did that, I was like, how do you, because we still have this the perfectionism thing, like it's
Yes.
almost like somebody told me, you know when you're trying to have this idea that okay, it needs to be perfect, sometimes there's some laziness involved, like you're being, so that has been my challenge. Like I'm trying to make sure that my project is going to be perfect, like it needs to be perfect. And how does it get perfect? You got to do a lot of things in the back end. You have to like learn how to sell, you have to learn how to do marketing, you have to do, there is so much that is going on in the entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter which field it is, like whether it's digital or like something that you do have it in the store. So I've been doing all that stuff along with my 9 to 5 job and
Oof.
families at home. You have to take the kids from school, and you got to play at the park, bring them home, and showers and dinners and sleep, all those routines, imagine. And you got to do your entrepreneurship and your 9 to 5. Yeah, it was tough.
I know what you mean. I did that for many years myself, about 20 years,
Right,
before I finally was able to retire from the day job and be able to focus more time on the entrepreneurship. But yes,
right,
and I realized, and I've written about this as well. I realized that that balance is crucial. And
right.
sometimes, when you try to get involved in too many things, right? We all need to do all of these things. We put all these uh, requirements and commitments on ourselves, and all of a sudden we're overwhelmed. And I think that's where you, in a really important place, is helping people to kind of find and navigate that. So in your chapter in volume 18, you said something, you called it the false choice that's destroying high performing fathers, and you talk about the
Correct.
legacy building code. Talk about that a little bit.
Correct. In I really, the main thing that you have to like, probably, like mostly you have to read the chapter and get all the details. However, like the to have just a quick summary is more about, let's say, instead of like a lot of times we don't have the focus, like we can be trying to do multiple things throughout the day, and then when you settle down later on, you're looking back, okay, what have I done, did I accomplish XYZ? No, you've been touching everything, but nothing is complete. So I think the idea of
Uh,
having structure, the structure, that's why I'm trying to build for folks. That's why I share in the chapter, to just build for them a structure, so that once they follow it, you then you finally have the freedom that you're looking for, because you'll be touching all the needle movers in those times that you allocate to carry out your duties, whether it's in, like in entrepreneurship or in your family related, because you also have to definitely keep the family going. If the family is struggling, then your job is also going to be struggling. So you have to balance all that. So it's good to kind of have a schedule that includes all the things that are important to you. Whether it's investment in your health. you know
right.
a lot of times, I share this a lot with my mom. She's been a good coach for me because she would always remind me to take it easy. So, so for people that haven't, let's say, been exercising, uh, it's been challenging or something. They see people running and all these things. You don't have to start running. You can start walking, and before you know it, it gets so comfortable and nice that you want to maybe do a little bit of jog. And before you know it, hey, Johnny's running. What happened? He's running, like every morning I see him, that kind of thing. So we have to take things slowly and also follow the schedule that I share there. I think is an amazing, like I call it the, like the 4 hour thing. Like instead of the whole 8 hours, you have 4 hours that are solid, and then you have a solid output.
Right. Right. Oh man. So this is brilliant. We are speak for those of you who are just tuning in, go back and watch this from the beginning. I always tell you to do that because you're missing out on some really good stuff here. We're having a fantastic conversation with Suleiman Ijani, who is the founder of Dad Puzzles LLC. He's the creator of the Dad Puzzles Scale Mastery Project, and we're going to ask about that here momentarily, and also the founder and host of the Dad Puzzles podcast, which is definitely worth your checking out. So all of this has been just terrific and so enlightening. And what Suleiman does is helps parentpreneurs. I love that term. It's hard to say though. Uh, Parents, people who are trying to balance having children and having a career, and even more importantly, having a career and entrepreneurship, and maybe both at the same time, as well as balancing that life, and helps people to navigate that. So let me ask you a little bit about your Scale Mastery project. What is that?
Correct. So with Scale Mastery Project, that came about in December 2024, because before December 2024, I was doing a podcast with a good friend Mark, and he's a professor with the art school, and we were just talking, and then I shared, there's a difference. We have been people do not know the business of things, and so like people can, let's say we go to medical school, but people do not teach you how to survive after you finish your medical school, like what like whether like you're doing the attending, or just like anything you're doing. A lot of times people, they don't know how the business of things work. So I was fortunate to meet a coach, in December of 2024. He's a scale coach. He teaches people from different backgrounds, whether like you're working in a salon, or you're like you're doing carpentry. All the different backgrounds of people, they're working with him, and he's teaching them how to the whole marketing works. And I've there's so much that I had to learn, and I've seen them doing really well in that field after I joined them. And I'm like, I would like to share this with my dad, with my dad puzzles community. So I call it Scale Mastery, kind of to reflect what the intent was, to kind of scale people's businesses,
Right.
and it's been amazing. So I can teach people, let's say, from starting their businesses, and also to scale for the people that have been in business but they don't have the consistent you know production. And this is whether like your high ticket coach, um you know you're a physician, you're like any type of background we have in our groups, and they're doing great. But it goes to the selling thing. Like there's resources of teaching people how to do that. There's so much. There's like the learning curve. It can be steep for some people, but you don't have to worry about that, because they have structured it in a way. There's a micro learning. Like you have, like like almost gamified with a school. There's this is the platform that I'm using, school.
Oh, that's really nice. So, and it's true because there are so many people who, they're experts in their profession, in their field, what it is that they do, but they don't know
Correct.
how to market it. And I see this a lot in the nonprofit sector too. They're very passionate about the topic of the nonprofit. They're experts in whatever that subject is, but they have no idea how to run the business side of things, or do the marketing and get out there. and to tell people about what they do. And that's where I think people like you and I come in, is we can help people with that. You know, I focus on helping people learn how to tell their story so they can communicate better what it is that they do. Where, you
Correct.
know, you're helping people to find that balance and learn how to scale their business while still maintaining some sort of sanity and family life. That's
Yes,
just
sir.
absolutely brilliant. Again, I'll say we're speaking with Suleiman Ijani, who is the founder of dadpuzzles.com, Dad Puzzles LLC. And I just love the name Dad Puzzles, by the way. I'll just say that again, Dad Puzzles. And it brings so much to mind, because people will sit there and go, yeah, we do have a lot of questions. We do have a lot of things that we're trying to figure out. And here comes Suleiman with some answers here to help people to make this navigation. This has been great. This has been great. Let me ask you, Suleiman. Now I know that you kind of bounce around. You know, sometimes you are based in Canada, and sometimes you're based in the southwestern United States. How do you now? How that seems like yet more balancing. How are you keeping all this together?
Correct. No, I'm actually, yeah, this was most of the time I'm in the East Coast, right? I do have my, like my daughter in New York. I'm, like I have my family,
Oh, that's right.
my
Yeah,
right,
forgot about
like my family in Montreal.
East
Yes,
Coast.
sir. So, and but I'm based in Arizona. That is my hometown. That's where I'm there with my colleagues, my future contracts that I'm working on at the moment. So like some of my future clients as well. They're there. So I think you can easily say that I'm more of a with Arizona than anything.
What is, I guess, what I'm looking for is what is the secret to being able to, because you've got travel involved in all of this too.
Correct.
What is your secret for maintaining your your sanity and your mental health while dealing with a full-time job, an entrepreneurship that you're continuing to build and scale, your family, and multiple locations, all of that. If you were to give somebody kind of a tip or a hint about how to maintain their sanity and their mental stability, what
Correct.
would you recommend?
Correct. I would recommend to. Okay, so I share some of these portions a little bit in the chapter. However, the most important thing I
Even
can
better.
share. Huh? I'm sorry.
I said even better. Let's share it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's more about, let's say, the spirituality, which is the meditation. For some people, you do that. This is very critical part. Um, having those non-negotiables. Like I love running. Before my I've done a full marathon before, and then I took a break. But there's something special about that when I'm
Wow.
doing that. Yes. So now I'm trying to get back a little bit because I'm not young anymore. But I'm trying to do my best to even though the pace is not going to be the same, but for some reason there's a magic when you do that in the morning, and then when you finish, and this is not every day, of course, you have your rest days and stuff like that, but it keeps your like I don't know, there's something magical about that. I think when I do that, I have a lot of product, like when I do work, I see the impact on that, my like my memory, like the interaction with family. So this is the day actually I took my kids off school today. So okay, mama, wait. I took my kids off school today. No, mama. John, this is the first for you today. Today you're gonna see the actual dad. Please do not mute the volumes.
This is
Like this.
this is perfect. This is a
Yes,
perfect example right here. Suleiman,
right.
you could not have scripted this better. And
Right.
I think that's something that has happened to us. I think that's happened with COVID too, when people
Mhm.
started to wind up working from home and their environments changed, and their pets or their children or whatever were there.
Correct.
And at first people they were devastated, they were mortified. Oh, I can't believe this is happening. But it actually helps us to relate better to each other, because we understand that there's more to life than just business. There's the family life, there's the pets. Your cat is going to jump up on the computer screen and put his butt on the camera. It happens. Your little one is gonna drop their diaper and run across the background. It happens. And it's what you know the thing is to not get flustered and understand this is all part of life, but it helps us to connect with each other better and understand each other better. So this is
Correct.
perfect. I love it. But continue with what you were saying. I'm sorry, I didn't. We
It's
went we
okay.
went
No,
sidetracked there.
you're summarizing pretty well because so from when you do have that structured life, it makes it easy for you to not being in trouble. Like
Yeah.
if your day from when you wake up in the morning all the way till time of sleep, then everything becomes easy. And if anything happens that is out of schedule, you can easily handle because your schedule has been solid. If you don't have
Right.
that, then it's going to be chaos, you know?
I like how you talked about kind of scheduling in the non-negotiables as well.
Correct.
Like you take time to do your runs for your physical health, for those things, and by doing those you're able to maintain the other things and to be more flexible when other things go a little bit differently.
Correct. Correct. That is correct, my friend. And so if folks they do that, then you can see the impact. And also, like of course you gotta put in things like gratitude and like working hard and all those things. They pay dividends. I remember, like, some of my colleagues, when I'm sharing some of the like the talks or the free coaching, and like here and there, they'll be like, wow, this is something that I would not have seen it, but I think because of the background that you have, so like Suleiman, that's why you're able to see all these things. So I think the experiences also matter, like the things that
Yeah.
you've been exposed to, those things matter. So like in your case, you know with your vast experience, when you talk to people, you can relate to their situation, and actually you can even shut down the monsters that is causing trouble for them, because you have seen those things, you know what I mean? So that is exactly what's
it
happening, I think.
and that's kind of why we wind up in the coaching and consulting realms, is because we've learned from our experiences and we can help other people get through those things as well. And today was a classic example of your balancing work and life and all of that. This has been a great conversation. I can't believe we're actually almost out of Suleiman. So uh, you're in volume 18 of Cracking the Rich Code, and your chapter is called The False Choice That's Destroying High Performing Fathers. Definitely want to encourage people to get out there and get a copy of volume 18. There's a lot of great authors in there, just like there is in every issue or every edition of Cracking the Rich Code. Suleiman's chapter is particularly of strong interest in today's world, where we're trying to juggle work, entrepreneurship, and a home life and a family and all that great stuff, and being able to navigate the challenges that we have in. Well, there are only so many hours in a day and only so much energy that we have. How do we spread that around?
Correct,
Great
correct.
conversation. Learn more about Suleiman at dadpuzzles.com. Definitely check out his podcast. Where can people find your podcast, by the way, Dad Puzzles?
Yes, please. It's on all the major networks, like from Apple, like podcasts. Anywhere you listen your podcast from, you'll find, Dad Puzzles. And also, we have a YouTube channel, Dad Puzzles. and we are on Instagram. Just DM us. We'll be in touch with you, very soon. And also, I have a couple cool things about this. I started, I'm sharing a quiz. It's called, dadpuzzle.com/balance. You can find out exactly how you're balancing your work. I think this is this is very important.
Oh,
Yes. So quiz that, just dadpuzzles.com/balance. And also there's another one /sustainability. Also each to like see how sustainable is your project you're working on. And once you finish, you can always reach out to me to see how we can fix whatever is missing in your quiz.
I love it. And they can contact you directly at admin@dadpuzzles.com.
Yes, sir.
And also, a good place to connect with you, you seem to be very responsive there, is on LinkedIn as well. And that will be in the show notes. Folks, we've had a great conversation with Suleiman Ijani, who is the founder of dadpuzzles.com. He is the creator of the Dad Puzzles Scale Mastery Project and the Dad Puzzles podcast. Lots of great stuff. This has been a fantastic conversation. Get out there, pick up a copy of Cracking the Rich Code, Volume 18, and read Suleiman's chapter in that edition, and you're going to learn a lot. Reach out to him. You'd want to connect with this guy. He's very cool. Suleiman, thank you again for a fantastic conversation. I look forward to doing more. I can't believe our time is up again already so fast, how quickly this goes.
Correct. Thank you so much, John. It's been an honor to chat with you, and folks should definitely watch the episode and also reach out to us, to myself, and also to you with your great projects as well. I appreciate you, John. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. Folks, go and watch this episode from the beginning. Listen from the beginning. Check out Suleiman Ijani, his chapter in Volume 18 of Cracking the Rich Code. Visit his website at dadpuzzles.com. Have a wonderful day and
John,
catch our next episode. Yes, sir.
John, I mentioned about gratitude, and also I've been thankful about the folks that have been leading me to the different opportunities. Please, I really, I cannot say enough. I'm thankful to Jim Britt and his team and yourself for you guys to introducing this project to us. And thank you guys again. Keep making the difference in the world, because being international project, I think, is an amazing thing. So thank you again.
Absolutely. We've got a great opportunity to reach many, many people in the world, around the world, who need to hear our messages of inspiration and help, and all of that stuff. And, sometimes you just don't know who's going to pick up that book and whose life you're going to make a difference in. So if opportunities cross your path to become part of something like this, jump on it. As Jim Britt is known to say, when the universe provides you an opportunity, it does not check your calendar nor your checkbook first. So take a look at those opportunities and jump in when you can. Thank you again. It's been a great conversation. Take care, Suleiman, and everybody. Check out the